During the rest of the day, we will have a deeper look into 4 different themes. That will be the new paradigms for research and innovation, a new age for prediction and early detection of cancer, the digital transformation and personalization of cancer care, and connecting minds, creating the future of cancer control. Quite a lot of things to cover for a day. But to start off, the first theme we've done is new paradigms of research and innovation. We will like to welcome our first keynote speaker, who is Anna Martling, Professor of Surgery at Karolinska Institutet. You are with us digitally, and you will talk about cancer and the role of research in innovation and change. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. I hope you hear me clearly and you can see the slides. Good morning from a very cold and dark and snowy Stockholm, I would say. I wish I were with you. My name is Anna Martling, and I am Professor of Surgery and a cancer researcher at Karolinska Institutet and Karolinska University Hospital in Stockholm. In my position as a dean at KI, I am also responsible for the joint initiative at Karolinska Institutet and Karolinska University Hospital for developing solutions for sustainable, broad implementation of precision medicine into healthcare. One central component in that assignment is to create conditions for having an integrated academy, processes as well as platforms for implementing new methods and techniques as an integral part of the patient's treatment. During my lecture today, I hope to be able to convey some of the experiences we have made and what we have found necessary to work with in order to succeed in creating an environment in healthcare that makes this possible. Initially, just to give you an understanding of what this could mean for the individual patients, I would like to start off to present to you a short patient case. In 2014, Karin, then age 59, fell ill with a prolonged coughing, and she sought care for this. She was then diagnosed with a 9-centimeter large lung cancer with a central location. And unfortunately, at the time, the tumor was also disseminated to the bone, and she was, at that time, actually predicted a prognosis of about 2 years survival. Karin was put on conventional chemotherapy with major side effects as a result. Thanks then to her medical team and the awareness they had and of the new knowledge and new technology with possibilities to analyze the tumor's genome, tumor samples were sent in parallel for analysis. And when the answer came back after a few weeks, it showed an ALK mutation. And at the same time, then in 2014, in the hospital trial unit, there was an early trial ongoing with a new drug called ALK inhibitor, a drug that inhibits the reaction that the specific mutation gives rise to, and that also drives the cancer development. A change in Karin's treatment strategy was therefore done, and she had a very prompt result. The tumor reduced and some even disappeared. Unfortunately, then she got a relapse in 2016, and then in 2018 and 2020. And at each time, the hospital changed the strategy, and she had a new ALK inhibitor, and she was also treated against her brain metastasis with the gamma knife. Today, 7 years later, in 2021, but it's the same situation today. Karin is living with a very active life. She's on medication twice a day, but she has a very good quality of life with minor side effects. She got a large family, husband, 3 children, 12 grandchildren that she now has seen grown up a bit. And she enjoys traveling, sports and social activities with her friends and family. And this is actually a picture from her last travel to the Galapagos very recently. So what made the difference in Karin's medical history? The lung cancer field, as well as many cancer areas, have undergone a remarkable development during the last years. 30 years ago, lung cancer was considered to be one disease and treated accordingly. Thanks to research and new knowledge, we have then been able to divide lung cancer into subgroups depending on which cell it originates from and adapt treatment accordingly. The major breakthrough came, however, when we were able to analyze the cell's genome that enable us to map the individual patient tumor's completely unique genetic profile and target a treatment specifically toward this, in order to achieve a more effective treatment with low risk of side effects to each patient. Luckily for Karin, her medical team had the awareness and about this, and also there was a trial ongoing that could match the new biomarker. And this is actually an example of what precision medicine is all about, very simplified and a bit historical. And what forms the basic for this is that the body of knowledge is increasing exponentially. And as a result, we get a greater detailed understanding of almost every disease. In parallel, we have a rapid development in technology and diagnostic tools, and we measure more with greater precision in healthcare in each patient and generates an increasing amount of complex data per patient. And as a result, we get a higher resolution of diagnostic and new biomarkers to steer our treatment against. And we have also more and more advanced treatment that can use these biomarkers. Altogether, we're creating new insights and deepen the knowledge in almost every disease, which give us absolutely total new opportunities. We can cure more, but this requires new conditions in healthcare. A central part and the basic foundation for realizing precision medicine, as we also have heard here in this meeting, is the handling and the use of extremely comprehensive and large data set. Each patient generates much more data at the individual, but also on the cell level. In other words, we must have a healthcare system that can handle these large amounts of data regarding storage, computational capacity, and interpretation of the data. Precision medicine involves both individual diagnostic, but also treatments and also follow-up based on the individual's unique needs and condition. And these needs and conditions must be re-evaluated in each decision through the patient's journey in healthcare to ensure the right treatment for the right patient at the right time, which means that we must create structures to collect and analyze data at every opportunity, as well as create platforms for innovation and research integrated into the patient's journey. And also, as important is also that we can ensure that the information and data continuously is made available for secondary use for research so that we can continue to add new knowledge and innovations. To create this condition and to accelerate the implementation of precision medicine in healthcare, we have in the Stockholm region established a precision medicine center in Karolinska in order to create a seamless organization that enables academia to become part of the patient's treatment by developing cross-collaboration and sharing knowledge and research platforms between disciplines, academy, and healthcare. We are fortunate to have many important mature precision medicine components in place, infrastructures, projects, centers, regionals, as well on a national level. The recently established Precision Medicine Karolinska will take on a role to coordinate and work for creating interactions and synergetic effects between these initiatives to ensure that we have a functional ecosystem of academia, healthcare, and industry, all for the benefit of the patients. We have identified 3 focus areas deemed to be critical to be able to reach our goal. We need to have an academy integrated in healthcare. Advanced infrastructure and technical expertise are available in academia and also in industry, but it needs to be integrated with clinical expertise from several different specialities in healthcare for current and secure interpretation of large amounts of data and rapid translation of the results in individualized treatments. By finding organizational solutions for the integration of diagnostics and treatments, precision medicine can be moved closer to care and thus closer to the patient. The second very important focus area is, of course, data management. To ensure that the data storage and computing capacity takes into account have the specific requirement that is needed, and creating cutting-edge computing infrastructure with link competence that the PM and new methods demands. The third part is diagnostic development. To integrate and use and fuse new methods in genetics, proteomics, imaging analysis, and lab samples. AI will here play a very special role and will probably be able to substantially contribute, fully developed, and even outperform human competence. This work was also enables fast implementation by creating innovative platforms and prerequisites for developing fruitful partnerships with the industry. Finally, another important and unique goal of Precision Medicine Center is to broaden implementation to more diagnostic groups. We have to learn from each other. The work has come the furthest in rare diseases and in cancer, I would say, but we are now seeing rapid development where we are taking work further into other diagnostic area. But we could also share experience within each other and between diagnoses. And we were moving to other common and complex diseases such as infectious diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and other. Close collaboration with industry partners is crucial to speed up the pace of implementation of scientific discoveries. We see now with great satisfaction that more and more companies are moving into close proximity to the healthcare here in Stockholm and close to the academy to create a true life science cluster. And only together we will be able to shorten the time from research to implementation for the benefit of our patient, and that is so extremely important if we should reach our goals. So to sum up, what have we learned and what is of importance? Well, we think that we have to work at the local, regional, and national level, but we have to, of course, work at all and at the same time, and this is essential. Different diagnoses, different cancer forms have different bottlenecks. So we have to also individualize each infrastructure for each diagnosis. But as I said, we have also a possibility to share because there are so many common needs. It requires in healthcare a structure that can handle change. And we, to some extent, needs to work in new ways. The introduction and the paradigm shifts we are facing challenge our administrative and financial systems, so that we have to work on together. And what is so clear when we have started since a couple of years ago working with this is that we need new skills into healthcare, and their collaboration is essential from the industry, but also from the academy and from the society and all. And to make this sustainable and to educate the future's coming employees and people working in the ecosystem, we have to make also educational efforts on the undergraduate, advanced, and postgraduate levels, and this will be necessary. And as I see it in this paradigm shift, the academy will have a new role and as a part of the healthcare and the patient's treatment. This development that I have told you about that we are working with is not only happening in Stockholm and Sweden, of course, it happens everywhere. And we must not only collaborate on the regional and national level, but also international to be successful in this. And by that, and by this great dedicated commitment that we today see and involvement among many actors, I think we can have many women. Foremost, of course, the patient in the center, but both the university, society at whole, and industry and healthcare will be winners in this if we succeed to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna Martling. And you will stay here on screen because you will be in the following discussion as well. And I would like to welcome on stage Ebba Hallesjö-Hult, who is the co-founder and head of Vision Cancer Zero. And I will leave the floor to you because you will lead the following conversation.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you so
Best of
much.
luck.
Thank you. So before inviting our distinguished panel to join here on stage, I would like to ask Anna a question. So Professor Anna Mattling, you've now worked with this initiative for a couple of years, chairing this task force. What has surprised you the most?
What we can do, achieve together, and the engagement from everyone actually regarding this, because we have a momentum here. Almost everyone I meet and work with do raise their hand and say that I want to be on this journey, and I think it's of importance for the patients. So it's the great engagement, I would say, that surprises me the most, and that is also why we can move on, and why we have managed to come that far in a very short time, actually.
Great. So please stay on, Professor Anna Mattling. And your last slide showed how we have to work together, and that was how we created the Vision Zero Cancer Innovation Hub as a catalyst network. We're financed by the Swedish innovation agency Vinnova, and it's about creating also the mechanism, the governance structure to be able to work together in the quest of making cancer eliminate cancer as a cause of death and making sure more people can live longer and better. That's our ultimate mission. And for that, we need, as you just mentioned in your presentation, we need to work across the society, but also on national, regional, and global level. So that's why we're here today, to start working with this. And at your last slide, you put the patient at the center. So let's now come back to the role of the patient and the patient's relatives and families in this role of actually bridging and reframing a little bit what we need for the clinical research and innovation around the patient experience. So I would like to welcome our distinguished panel now, starting with Dr. Asma Al-Manei, Executive Director, Research and Innovation Center, Department of Health of Abu Dhabi. Just a moment, can all come up together. And also Dr. Itidale Namr Redwan, Chief Scientific Officer at the company Cellink. We also have Dr. Vesa Katia joining us here, Chief Medical Officer at Kaiku Health by Elekta. And my colleague in Vision Zero Cancer, Dr. Bettina Ryll, subject matter expert in personalized medicine and patient-centric innovation at Vision Zero Cancer, but you also founder of the Melanoma Patient Network in Europe, and you were member of the first EU Cancer Mission Board. So welcome all of you to join me here on the stage. And thank you, Professor Anna Mattling, for staying online with us. Please have a seat. So, refocusing clinical research and innovation around the patient experience. I would like to start with Dr. Bettina Ryll. You founded a patient network. How come? And what do you see as the important role of patients and family as co-creators of the healthcare system?
That is quite a question. Thank you for that, Ebba. I think something that unites us for anyone working in cancer is often that the reason why we're here is personal. And unfortunately for me, that was strictly just like that. So I am a physician by training and have worked as a researcher, I have a PhD in molecular biology, and I thought I had understood what medicine and research was about and how it worked, and I had been part of the system. And it was only when my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma out of nowhere in 2011 and then died of it in less than a year that I realized how little I had understood, and where I saw the cracks and the failures of a system that I personally had to believe to be more than adequate. I had believed that we were helping our patients, and being at the receiving end of it and realizing I just found it unacceptable, because I could see the potential, what we can do, what science can do, and it was not happening. And this was my motivation. And I think it was also a very personal one, because I was working in a lab, but at the time I realized it could have been me treating patients that way. And I would have believed I did the right thing without realizing what I was doing. And it was that kind of unease that got me started, and I founded a patient network. And because of my background, I was always interested in research and the interfaces. And this is how I ended up on the EU Cancer Mission Board, where I worked mainly on the recommendation for personalized medicine. And I think that's something that many here will share. Every time you talk to someone, they have lost someone close to them due to cancer, and there's always something personal in there.
So smarter clinical trials, for instance, and with use of AI and digital technologies, being able to also to monitor, to understand what really matters to patients. We've come quite far now in the last 10 years since you started off, and just like Christian Massachesin mentioned earlier today, I think are part of the keys that we perhaps could see in this future. But so the patients also being part as as co-creators of the system, being part of the change. How can we enhance this through policy? So, Dr. Asma Al-Manei, here in your country, what are your experience? Do you also engage with the communities and the families in also driving research and innovation?
Absolutely. Exactly the same problem that was explained. We believe that there is so much to be done, and we can build the best system that we think it is there, but if we are not at the forefront with the patient and we understand the whole ecosystem that they are living in, the different challenges, then we will not be able to build the right solutions for them. We always focus on different elements like the prevention and the therapeutics, and both of them there is miles and miles still to walk in order to achieve them. I believe there is so much to be done in terms of the prevention. Why shall we detect the disease after it happens? We are moving now toward more of a focused, I will not say aggressive, but what we believe that we need to be able to detect the disease before it happens and move into stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this is where I believe the research has a lot to offer. We are moving toward precision and personalized medicine. We are moving toward genomic research and clinical genomics, whether it is therapeutics, because we want to customize the treatment that will work best for the patient. Not all the chemotherapy will fit all the patients. Some will respond, some will not respond. So why we are giving them one size fits all? And the same applies for the detection early. Yeah. The advancement in innovation and technology has been remarkable over the past few years, and we need now to deploy them for the benefit of the patient. We need to move them to the bedside. And the detection, I know there is a lot of challenges from a policy point of view in terms of ethics and regulations and autonomy and all of those. But we believe that we need to do that, because when you detect the potential that this person might develop cancer, then there is technologies also to be made. Yes, yet to be regulated, but solution can be there, and the patient has the autonomy to decide on what to do. If they want to have a total mastectomy, that's for them to do, and we need to support the patient. If they need to do a gene editing, and that is again, if the technology is offering it, we need to provide the appropriate regulatory and ethical framework for the patient to make the right decision and have a healthy quality life for them. Thank you.
Thank you. And then on the note of healthy quality life, so Dr. Vesa Katayat, Kaiku by Health, Kaiku by Elekta, Kaiku Health by Elekta, sorry. You have digital platforms also for the symptom monitoring, so that you can actually work together and so the health system works with the patient rather than for the patient.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those possibilities and what does that mean for also improving research and innovation and the adoption into the routine healthcare.
Yeah, if I may, I start a little bit of with history. I saw one of the slides here with the development in lung cancer treatment, and I remember that it gave me a déjà vu I started in 1989 my oncology career as a clinical oncologist, and I remember those days when we were giving the patients with very toxic platinum-based chemo, and sometimes also interferon, which was waste of time, but we didn't know that then. And then as you saw, we climbed up to the modern era where we have all these molecular determinants of the cancer, and we can target the treatments very, very precisely. But we cannot forget that also the similar development has happened in radiation therapy. And this is not why I'm paid by Elekta. This is not to talk because of that, but I'm a radiation oncologist also. I've been doing that for 12 years during my career, and the development in there over 30 years has been fantastic, absolutely. And we can combine chemo with radiation, with the immuno-oncology treatments and radiation. And I remember in the early 1990s there were journal texts telling us that radiation therapy will become obsolete because of the development in medical treatment. Well, what has happened? Just the contrary to that, actually. But then, now where we are now, when I was treating my first patients, and over the decades I've been treating the patients, I have always taken the granted that this is the way to do it. You know, we just give the chemo, give the pills, and see you next week or see you in 3 weeks' time, and we take it for granted that the patients can live with their lives in those very serious circumstances with all the spiritual, everything, all kind of stress that they have, and the toxicity from the treatment that we provide. Now, 30 years later, I'm sitting here, and I'm really happy that we are talking about the patient-centered treatment at the moment, and we are starting to have patients as companions in the treatment, and we are getting the information from them, which is very, very valuable information. Kaiku Health is a digital therapeutics platform which is doing exactly that. It's collecting the patient symptoms, and it's tailored to the treatment of the patients. And also what we have noticed is that, like I was taught in medical school, listen to the patient, he will tell you the diagnosis. That's an old verb, actually, but that's very true. That's what we have noticed now with the same message actually hidden in the technology world, but still it is there, the patient's voice. That's what we need, definitely.
Great. And again, thinking of the patient voice, so Professor Anna Mattling, at your hospital, the Karolinska University Hospital, you have many ways of involving patient representatives and family representatives in the implementation of not only precision medicine, but in your routine care in cancer and in other also disease areas. Could you perhaps elaborate a little bit on that for us?
Yes, thank you, Ebba. Great. Yes. I would say I would start first to say that actually the patients they are central in this paradigm shift, because they are the spokesmen and they are the ambassadors for this, because if we're talking about engagement is extremely high when you talk to patient representatives and the patients' societies around, especially in the cancer field. So they are driving us actually, and they are extremely important in that, and also their opinions. We have to listen to them and to also make them a bit prioritized, because we need to do a lot of things, but to listen to the patient, to get the most important things also on the table from the patient side is extremely important. And as you said, Ebba, yes, we are working both in the task force work. We do have dialogues. We invite the patient representatives to our meetings when we plan and when we are doing the work and in that group. But also we're using the system that the organization that the hospital has built up for many years, that they involve actually the patient representatives. They invite them to the table in the management group actually, and to be engaged over a longer period of time and to follow the development of the hospital and the organization in the hospital. So both we have built an own organization with engaging the patient representatives, but also using, of course, and that is perhaps the most important, to get the sustainability and to really get this work in the future, the system and the work that the hospital has worked with for many years in that. And I was quite a pioneers in that work, I would say, in a national perspective at least.
Yeah. That's very, very exciting, and it's very concrete examples of also developing the new ways of working by having the patient as partners and also parts of the management and the planning. There's so many aspects on how to develop with more of a patient-centered research and innovation to accelerate implementation in these times towards our vision of eliminating cancer as a cause of death. You need many sorts of solutions, many stakeholders, but also many technologies. So a question to you, Dr. Itedali from Cellink. You're working with bioprinting. Could you just explain what is that really, and what does that actually mean for advancing the opportunities to eliminate cancer as a cause of death?
Absolutely. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be here. I've heard so many buzzwords that we use in cancer that are used in common. So I'm representing Cellink. We are a technology provider, and I'm listening to doctors, to people working with patients, academics, and we all want the same thing. But just to tell you a little bit about bioprinting, bioprinting is a technology where you can actually use printers to mix cells with the appropriate material to create advanced models of healthy tissue, but also disease tissue. And I think it's not a surprise to this room here that no cancer grows flat. And we know that every cancer is individual. We heard that as well earlier today. So with bioprinting, we can actually take cells from a biopsy, put them in the right ECM environment with the right cells in the right architecture. Number one, to have the correct model, to find the correct treatment. Second, to also find the right dose. And also, this ultimately makes sure that one size does not fit all. We are really making sure that we, instead of experimenting with the patient, giving them a treatment and tell them to come back 3 weeks later, we're starting with giving them the right disease. So we was a Swedish startup. Today we are 6 years old, and we've had great success simply because our technology allows the user to create reliable models compared to testing drugs in a 2D system.
Excellent. So there are many ways, of course, to stimulate innovations, and coming back then to the importance and the needs of working together, as was pointed out at Professor Anna Martin's slide, and of course, we as a panel here also represent a pentahelix perspective. So at least, of course, we are at different levels in the world, in different countries, in different regions when it comes to this adoption to a more of a patient-centered care and all these methodologies for that, and also towards the implementation of precision medicine. We will discuss that throughout the day, and a special session about the global adoption to that. But at least in a country like Sweden, what we do see is that we have the infrastructures in place. What we need is the collective intelligence. We need to find really new ways of working, not only saying it, by meaning it and doing it. So I would like to engage the whole audience. You are here now today here at the Swedish Pavilion at EXPO 2020 in Dubai, but also you are joining us live from around the world. So I would like to see if we could have a first Menti question for this panel to see your ideas around collaboration. And we could sort of elaborate on that when it comes back to the redefining the opportunities for patient-centric innovation. So a game here to rank. So take out those who you have your phones looking at collective intelligence. Rank the factors for what you think predicts higher intelligence in a group. Group composition, collaboration process, or individuals' own skills.
That's a bit of a mean question.
Yes, it's a complex question when we talk about co-creation for innovation. What do we need together?
The answer is probably all.
A way of defining collective intelligence is the process by which a large group of individuals gather and share the knowledge, data and skills for the idea of solving a societal issue. And I think what we're looking at here now is how do we solve the greater challenge of cancer for the whole world. And I'm very happy to see that collaboration processes and group composition is definitely where we are seeing that we should aim for, and to develop those structures and governances. And I think it's also what we're hearing here now from the panel, but also from this new way of working and learning together. And I'm sure also that is how you started working with persons like Karin, who was highlighted here now in the example here now from Karolinska University Hospital, and their opportunities for living longer and better. And so that's, I think, is very encouraging. Any reflection here from the panel on what it takes for the collaboration processes? What it's like for you, Dr. Asma, here in your country?
Yes. First of all, I would like to explain that we learned the way of doing or supporting a better outcome for our patient will come from collaboration and not by sitting in silos. So we started a program that's called Health Tech Hub, and we are focusing on startups. So we are trying to create that kind of collaboration from the academia side, from the industry side, from the provider side and healthcare regulator side, to create a sandbox environment where the idea can be transformed into a prototype, and the prototype will be made available in a research environment for the patient at the bedside, and then we will evaluate the outcome and the validity. And that process of acceleration, being involved as a regulator in this process, gives us the heads up in terms of what needs to be regulated, because we are really dealing with the future. So we will be working hand in hand with researchers and innovators in order to create the appropriate framework of regulations and policy that will enable such innovative technology to benefit our patient. And I'm happy to share that part of this, program, and the starting of this program is started actually with the Karolinska Institute and, a company from Sweden, Takura. We were working on the stem cell and cellular therapeutics. So we wanted to create that kind of alignment. So the Department of Health has signed an MOU in 2019 with Takura company, and also making sure that the academia part, UI University, is there. The provider side is Saha Hospitals, and we have the industry part, Group 42, as well with us. So all those four, and 5 teams signed an MOU to create that kind of collaboration from the Karolinska Institute outcome of science into a Swedish company, and from that with also a UAE company, to create that kind of a beautiful ecosystem that will fast track and accelerate the new innovation and science within the research to the bedside at a product side. And we are very happy that our first initiatives started with the Sweden partnership, and we are happy and we are open for additional ideas to create the same momentum of having a wonderful co-creation environment for the better outcome of our patient.
Excellent. Wayne here, please.
I
Yeah.
don't know why, but again, I wanted to go back to history a little bit here. When I started my oncology career, the medical oncologists, the radiation oncologists, the surgeons, they did their own jobs. There was nothing, we sent the patients to each other, but we didn't talk. Multidisciplinary oncology has developed since the 1990s. These tumor boards and so on and so on. I think this is the massive change in the thinking, the first massive change in the thinking in clinical care of cancer patients. And now, 30 years later, again, I have this feeling of a little bit of amazement. I'm sitting here and talking about my work with IT nerds who develop digital portals for patients to use for patients to be able to collaborate in their own treatment very much, and then have also perhaps predictive elements in there so that we can actually see before what will happen to the patient and make the treatment even more supportive and safe. So there's a lot of happening, and I was so happy that it was collaboration that was winning the vote in here, because that's definitely so. I believe in collaboration. Of course, the group you're working with is important too, but if there is good collaboration, it sort of covers also the setbacks in the group, definitely.
And in societies where they might have not come as far as you have, or as in the Nordics, when it comes to engaging with patients as partners in developing and co-creating the healthcare, what would be your recommendations? Can you, please, Dr. Bettina?
So, actually, just 2 days ago, we were in on the inauguration of an incubator between India and Sweden, and it really struck me that the argumentation was different, but what they achieved was very similar. So we talk about patient centricity and how to get our services to the patients. Yesterday there was an inspiring talk about someone talking about rural populations, people who live far away from the next center. How can we provide top-notch care also to these people? I think that's the ambition of any physician. So one of these Indian colleagues, and I hope he's going to be here later, spoke about the fact that in India there are huge numbers of people who are so far away and so remote that it is impossible to think of building anything close to them. So that technology should deliver that. And what I loved is that they started with a description of what the end product had to be like and how it had to behave. It had to be robust, it had to be small, it had to be cheap. And this is how they started. And it struck me that something that was motivated by challenge turned out to be very close to the patient. It was easy, it was non-invasive, it was cheap. So I think it's this rethinking about our healthcare system and our ambitions. Our ambition should be that everyone in need gets the care they need, independent of where they live, how well educated they are, how much money they have. I mean, I don't know about you, maybe I was just naive, but when I went into medical school, that was the ambition. We wanted to save lives. That's why you become a physician. So I think help with technology, now we actually have a chance to do it. And we don't have to build a hospital. I think it's about the digital nerds out of that. It is people with very different skill sets who have the key and put together. I think that's where the magic actually happens. So I'm actually a bit uncomfortable about this less developed. If you look at Africa and who's top-notch in banking, who does remote banking well? It's Africa, because they were forced by circumstances. I expect the leapfrogging, I expect the novel ideas to come out of need. So I think we all should, be a bit more, I don't know, not respectful is the wrong term, but appreciative of these ideas that might also have the solutions to our points. And the odd thing in there is, in the end, that's patient-centric. It is care to the person where it should be. That's my aspiration, my hope for this, and I think Connecting Minds is a beautiful topic for that.
I think
Dr.
there are
Didele, what's
two,
your...
yeah,
Yes,
two
please.
words I would like to add here. I mean, I've been thinking about that. That's really being interdisciplinary and the convergence.
True.
The convergence of different disciplines where you bring in artificial intelligence with advanced engineering, with the biology, and also patient data. And I think it's only when we work within the bioconvergence that's when we can actually advance and speed up the way we treat patients.
I agree.
Perfect. So, Dr. Anna Matildier from Stockholm, any reflection on this last comments from the panel here in Dubai?
So, I totally agree. I think so many wise things are said, but I totally agree about the new technology, the digitalization and everything will make it possible that this will be available for a much broader and on a global level, definitely. So and I can't agree more about this, about the IT nerds that we have been talking about. They are so crucial and important, and that's what we should also focus on. Actually, how should we get the right knowledge and the right persons into the healthcare system, actually, because there's a lot of other people wanted their competence around us, but we need them so desperately in healthcare and in where we are today, actually, and in this moment. So it's that is a crucial thing, and expect for that also everything around data handling is important. The legal system, the technical infrastructure. But if we are working with that, and if we bring the cases on the table, so we can help also on the national level and our governments to be to adapt the system, then we will be able to do this. But we have to really work hard on that.
Perfect. Any comment back here, please?
I was just thinking about the situation globally. Of course, it is as we heard that people don't have access to this kind of tools that are necessary at the moment for using optimally, perhaps these digital therapeutics appliances and so on. But of course, it is in a way it's a disappearing problem little by little, and it's not at all odd that especially younger patients, and I call everybody under 50, they are young, they actually ask, why do I have to come here to the appointment? Why couldn't this be done, by phone, for example, or by some other means, a video call or so on? So the patients are bringing this up now already in the clinics. So I think we should hurry to sort of be active there, that we will provide them for these tools, because they are eager to use, very eager to use them. Yeah.
Exactly.
To comment on that, I think this is something where COVID, however much damage it has done to our societies, actually taught us. Because I am responsible for a number of patient forums, and we got always asked, so always with the expectation that people report something back, so how was your experience during COVID having cancer at the same time? And I was quite surprised when the response was actually, there were a lot of positive responses. One of them was, usually when my physician calls me back, they give you a day or even 2 days. So you're sitting on your phone all the time, and every time you want to go out or go to the bathroom, you're worried that they will call you. If you have a fixed slot, you can prepare for it. You will be in a quiet slot. You can even sit with someone who will listen and take notes with you. You prepare for it. They felt it was much more respectful for them, and I had never thought about it, but someone states it. Another one is that the flows in hospitals have changed due to COVID, because we try to get people in and out as as fast as possible, but based on their individual characteristics. So we pre-screen who needs what type of care. People said, I've never been out of hospital so fast, I've never gotten better care. It was targeted to what I needed, it is personalized to my needs. And I just hope that we learn. I mean, we have suffered, or we're still suffering so much. I hope we keep the learnings and to improve our systems. It is also me often about this personalization or patient centricity. For me, it is about dignity, and I like very much the point that you stressed about autonomy.
Yes.
It is something that gives people the dignity to choose about their lives and to be treated as such. So I think that's my hope for, at least something positive.
There's one practical example I would like to give here. If we think about the prevalence of cancer patients to the increasing prevalence, it becomes a bigger problem than the incidence, actually, in the sense that with the current way of following up these treated patients who are healthy from their cancer, they keep coming into the hospital for appointments, calendar-based appointments. For what? Because they have no complaints, for example, if they're asymptomatic. And we do know from research that there is no golden standard protocol for following up the patients, and there is no show that a certain protocol would improve the prognosis of the patient. So why do we keep asking them in? Instead, we could actually use a symptomatic follow-up with digital means, and that would save a lot of money. And we could actually do it just right, in most of the European countries, we could do it just like that right now. But the problem is there that the oncologists tend to have a long naval cord to the patient. And it's very difficult to change the mind and let the patient go and live his or her life. That's the biggest problem.
It's also about the innovation, about ways of working, our behaviors and so on. Please, Dr. Asma.
Yes, I would like to share perhaps maybe forward-thinking vision. Actually, as we see and observe the changes within the healthcare system, we see that it is being spread above and beyond the boundaries of healthcare, with the notion about, digital health and having to meet with IT. Yeah. Actually, this is what is happening. And I've heard a quote that this is going to be our hospital in the future. Our phone is going to be our, clinics and so on. As doctors, we might be a little bit troubled because we are used to the bedside and a hospital and stethoscope and everything, but no need to worry. I believe we need to embrace the future and be part of the change. One of the things that we are trying to do, and we are calling an internal innovation, it's a prototype. We are trying to establish a flagship program for cancer therapy that is going to bring all those bigger players, and not only within the healthcare. We are talking about academia, industry, biopharma, all together focusing on cancer care. And we are going to provide the appropriate infrastructure in terms of the genomic data information, the health information exchange with our Malafi program, and ensuring that all the key successful factor to make such program and flagship program works. This is what we are trying to enable. We believe that we need to focus on research in order to come up with a better outcome from a therapeutic perspective and also from a preventive perspective. This is an open invite for people who are interested in cancer therapy and in cancer diagnosis to please approach Abu Dhabi Department of Health, and we are looking forward for you to be part of this flagship program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I think this is a perfect call to action and a concluding of this first panel this morning. And I'm also, as a leader of the Vision Zero Cancer Innovation Hub and our recently established new also flagship initiative in the implementation of precision medicine, together with Professor Anna Mattling and colleagues. You will hear some more later today. We'll be so excited about this collaborations going forward, and hopefully also bring other countries and players on board. So I would like to thank you all very much, and thank you so much. And they're back in Stockholm. Have a great rest of the day. And now back to my colleague Ingrid Heath. Yes. What's up next?
Yes, thank you so much. Both panel and Ebba Hallesjö-Schult. I just want to say that it's time for break and some coffee, I believe, and we will be back here at 12 o'clock Dubai time, and that is 9 o'clock in Central European time. And then we will discuss even more in depth about prevention and early detection. So please welcome back at 12 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With the revolutionary BioX6 bioprinter, CellLink brings a tool to push the field of tissue engineering forward.
The BioX6 is revolutionizing bioprinting and opening the door for advancements in life sciences and medicine. Whether your goal is to get started with bioprinting or push the boundaries of tissue engineering, we have something for you.
Well, I think the most important thing to me, what I've always told my students, is to dream big, to dream about problems or do great science, curiosity-driven research that hopefully will change the world, and make it a better place.
The BioX6 was designed with you in mind to give you the flexibility you need to be able to print in a wider range of bioprinting materials, a wider range of bioprinting techniques, and a multi-scale print resolutions.
CellLink has always been driven by providing customers the utmost service, whether it is with the highest quality products or with the level of expertise that is unmatched in the industry. We aren't looking to bring products. We are looking to bring the next generation of life science solutions.
Established in more than 60 countries, CellLink is proud to support a strong community of scientists making revolutionary discoveries.
Looking forward, we will continue to grow the community and provide researchers with a platform so they can present their findings.
We've also had some of the CellLink machines in our lab, and I think it's helped do some of the things we're trying to do in regenerative medicine in terms of creating new tissues and organs for different problems. So it's been very, very useful.
What if your next breakthrough in regenerative medicine or personalized medicine impacts one life?
What if it impacts 1 million lives? These are your questions, and they matter to us. We bring you the future of medicine.